came home yesterday. Some of us take a nap because we're older.
Yeah.
Okay. And then we kind of woke up, and all of a sudden the GFS and the European have kind of come together a little bit more, right? So we're like, have a little bit more confidence in the forecast. Now, that said, all the details, aren't ironed out yet. But we do have winter storm watches certainly in place across much of interior New England, which we do think this is going to be a very heavy, wet snow. So Watertown, you're not really in the game here with all of this, but you're going to deal with some showers, believe it or not. So we're kind of waiting on the cold air to come in with this northern branch of the jet stream, and that's what will cool you off and maybe give you some wet snow, certainly in the higher elevations. So this is just a lot of yuck here. You've got warm advection from the southern system. You've got, energy from the northern system that's coming together here. So it's just a lot of rain showers, and actually a lot of it is not even reaching the ground. So it's what we call Virga. State College 37 at Pittsburgh this morning, 41 as we take down over to Pittsburgh. Saranac Lake 34 degrees, and there's Watertown sitting at 38. Your help is the fact that you have the moisture right close by. So that's why you're one of the ones that's getting rain. Well, we're having a lot of what we call bark here and not much bite. It's Virga. It's saturating. It's going into saturating the air. Model does a good job with that. They kind of take out the Virga and show you where we may get some spotty precipitation. So really not much happening with all this. Focus in on what starts to happen on the southern end of this, because that's really the big game. And as we get into Friday night and Saturday morning especially, this is where things get very dynamic with the storm. We're going to see it really explode there. So the northern branch system, again, not showing a whole heck of a lot in through here. It doesn't have a ton of cold air with it. So that should be a hint to you of how hard it's going to be for this storm to even make and create its own cold air. But it can do that. We know that, Felicia, that storms of this magnitude, when they explode off the East Coast, can actually create their air through the dynamic process.
Oh, yeah. You're talking about this storm really strengthening pretty quickly.
Yes.
It's going to be an impactful one for sure. It's going to leave some snow. But this snow, you see it here, plastering the plains, blanketing sections of Oklahoma on Wednesday. Drivers scraping their cars and windshields in Woodward. Close to a foot falling in that area as the system is on the move through the eastern states this morning. So, yeah, Steph, everyone was kind of, as Jim mentioned, just waiting to see what was going to happen with those models. And they're finally starting to come together. We've got a little bit of a better idea what this system's going to do.
And one of the factors that has changed over the last 24 hours, we still obviously have our surface system, and it's doing as expected. The upper level piece of our southern part of this whole system, so that's the surface. If you look in the upper levels, you have to look at all these different levels. The upper level low is stretched out a lot more, and it's going to kind of merge a little farther east. And so at least we know now, right? So we have a better idea of what's going to be happening, rain coming down. Just think about it. We were just talking about snow in Tennessee and Kentucky, right? Not too long ago. There's your rain that's making its way into Birmingham, Montgomery, Huntsville, Chattanooga, Atlanta. It's headed right towards you as well. And then, of course, that rain extends all the way up into places like West Virginia, too. So this is the southern part of our big system that's going to make its way east. Possibility of a few thunderstorms. We have a little bit of more of a warm environment there, and you see the rain kind of coming eastbound. Overall, it's not horrible. And overall, we don't really need rain in the south. Granted, there are a few places that could use some, right? But as just a big picture thing. It will be clearing out, though, for your evening plans here into places like Atlanta. But unfortunately, North Carolina moving into Raleigh overnight, it's going to be a wet one. And you see it kind of winding up there, right? Feeling the influence of the northern part of this system. And it clears out. Thankfully, Saturday is looking very, very nice. So exactly how much rain is going to be falling down. Again, overall light, don't forget, a little bit of elevation there. That makes things a lot colder and squeezes out that moisture. Jim.
All right, Steph, major metros like Washington, D.C. and New York set for a washout over the weekend. There will not be snow there at all. The Baltimore/D.C. National Weather Service office, which is also the Sterling office, as it's called, are warning that rain could actually be heavy at times and trigger some isolated flooding. Flooding also triggered in New York, as well as very gusty wind conditions here along the coast as the low-pressure system strengthens. So that we kind of hinted at this a little bit, Felicia. This will be a low that starts to rapidly develop as these two jet streams, or we're calling them storms this morning, phase together.
Yeah, and the thing is, imagine if you planned a trip, like later today after you got off work, you're going to drive up 95 from Richmond to Philly. hot mess.
Yeah.
You got to know what the weather forecast.
Yeah. Hope you got good windshield wipers.
Yeah, exactly. A cool mess, actually. Cooler air going to continue building in with this, but at least you're getting the rain. So you can see just a few spotty showers crossing over right now. That 85 corridor, Richmond, you're still dry starting out, but we're going to have that rain building in and falling over much of the same areas. So from the Delmarva Peninsula back into Roanoke, back into Danville as well, you've got that risk for maybe some flash flooding, especially in those flood-prone areas. Look at this, 2 p.m. As mentioned, 95 corridor, Philly up to New York, really all the way through southern Connecticut there. You're stuck in the rain. This is not a good road trip day, a road trip Friday. That's continuing as we head into Friday night, so you can see that much of the same areas are seeing these rounds of rain. We've got moisture, we've got that strengthening system, and that is going to allow this rain to just keep falling into Saturday morning as well. Now, once it gets out of here, it's going to clear out quickly, but we've got a day and then a night and then some of Saturday morning to deal with it before it's completely gone. And because of that, because much of the same area is going to be dealing with these rounds of rain, we do have that risk for flash flooding focused farther north along the coast from Connecticut, Rhode Island, all the way up through Bangor, because you guys are going to be getting those rounds and rounds of rain. So keep that in mind. Let's time it out for DC here. You'll notice maybe a few showers early on. A lot of that rain staying north of 70 initially and then filling in late afternoon into the evening and overnight across DC up into Baltimore. And then just like that, as quickly as it came, it moves out early Saturday, and your Saturday clears out generally about up to an inch of rain. But the thing is, it's going to get cooler, Steph, because behind that system, obviously, we've got the colder air building in.
Yes, by a good 10 degrees in a lot of us. So let's have a look at where we do have these winter storm advisories. Obviously, where you see the blue on the map, you're going to have a better chance at seeing some of those high snow totals. So here's the thing. There's a lot of warmth with this system. And so it's going to be heavy rain, actually, for a lot of you. And a lot of you will start off as rain and then switch over specifically on the backside of the system. So into the afternoon, also notice I was mentioning those winds. First of all, there's your low. Look how tightly packed these isobars are. It's going to be cranking out there. And listen, it'll still be breezy back here all the way to Buffalo. They're a little bit more tightly packed here. That can give you an idea, right, of what meteorologists look at here when you're talking about those winds. But there's your snow. Notice again on the backside always with that northerly wind is going to pull down some of that snow into central Massachusetts, maybe a place like Framingham, seeing some of that snow pulled in. Boston, yeah, you'll get a little bit of some frozen stuff probably on the backside, but it's not like you're going to see this massive snowstorm. Where we are going to see an epic snowstorm is into Maine. It is going to be brutal up there with the wind, that snow coming down all the way through Sunday morning and lasting actually into the afternoon hours, but we will be clearing out, obviously, as we look a little bit farther south here into New England and through the rest of the Northeast. So let's look at our totals, and you see the euro has shifted, but we still could see some solid snow. And remember, on the back side, it could bring down maybe half a foot of snow into central Pennsylvania there. And the same for the GFS. You see that these two are starting to come together and look a lot more alike. So we are more confident in our forecasting here as we go through the next several days. But there are your winds, 40, 50. We could see power outages with this, Jim, not only from the wind, but the combo of the wind and that heavy, wet snow. Portland, Maine, finally, Sunday, southern Maine, Jim, we're going to see clearing out before northern Maine.